And welcome to the podcast, the LNG Talks Nerdy Podcast. I'm your host, John, aka Nerdkami, and right here with me is probably the only person that's going to be joining me for today, and that's an LNG partner, Jesus. Jesus, say hi to the happy people.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? On the description below, I said this talk show was today. It was going to be about a multitude of things. It's going to be about the group. It's going to be about the also some upcoming events and some real life stuff that are going on. We don't have much to talk about, so we are going to just jump right in. The first thing I want to do is talk about the group. We are getting bigger every single day, and that's a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing when it comes down to the people that actually choose to interact with us. Now, you guys are interacting with each other. That's cool. There are some people that I feel like that we have to address because as we get bigger, we're gonna get trolls, and there's a bunch of trolls that I just don't like. Yo, what's up, Eddie? What's up? Nice of you to join us. Like I said, there's a bunch of people that I just don't like in the group. Like, they're fucking trolls. And what I mean by fucking trolls, I mean that they like to troll and make they take pleasure in making things a lot more difficult than what it needs to be. Like for instance, I shared a black cosplayer on the page, and a couple of folks laughed, and I was trying to figure out what was funny. Only thing he could offer up was just more laughing, and so yeah, I removed him from the page. I removed him from the page because I didn't feel like I wanted to be bothered with a troll today. Because I'm trying to find out why you find out things are funny, but all you want to do is continue laughing and trolling. Now, granted, I probably shouldn't have done that, but still, I don't like it when people hint at black cosplay or people who cosplay and are black. I don't like that. I have zero tolerance for that. Like if I'm sharing something and is geared towards the black community or a black cosplayer, and the only thing you have to do is just laugh about it, and when I confront you about it, you laugh more. I kind of take offense to that because black cosplayers have come a long way. Okay, let me just be honest. Any cosplayer that's outside of the white majority has came a long way because they face racial discrimination when they do cosplay. It gets kind of irritating when you're trying to spread that awareness and love and whatnot because on the so like all the cosplayers cosplaying and all people want to do is just laugh about it. That kind of irritates me. I'm not sure how anybody else feels, but that's just how I feel. Jesus, how do you feel about that?
I don't know exactly because I don't know what his intentions are, but to be fair, it does seem like a fair guesstimate that he was laughing at her because he was maybe outside of things. But it's an assumption, and I really just hate making a general assumption. But if you confront him and then he laughs even more, I don't know how anyone's supposed to take that, especially when you're asking a serious question. So, I mean, the only obvious thing to do at that point, I guess, would be to remove them just in case, because, realistically, a lot of the problems that we have in the group are powder keg issues, such as that. And if
Mm-hmm.
they, you know, opening up the door for these types of things, it just opens up to arguments nonstop. And then people feel like they need to be heard, and then people sit there and complain about being censored or whatnot. And
Right.
realistically, it's supposed to be a page for nerds, and nerds have been bullied for a long time already. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so what's the point in doing the same thing that was done to you exactly? Do you feel better about yourself at the end of the day? I mean, like, if you don't like something, it's okay to just disagree. If you
Exactly.
think something is absolute trash, but another person thinks that it's golden, let them figure it out the hard way, like you learned.
In all
Or,
honest, huh?
or I was about to say, or maybe it's just their preferences in which you have to respect.
And in all honesty, I just have zero tolerance when it comes down to the ignorance of people and like the stuff that people share on the page. Like obviously they want to share it for a reason, and for you to just do that, it might deter people from actually sharing like their cosplay. Like it may deter them from sharing other people's cosplay because this is like the second incident that we had with a black cosplayer, and somebody chose to make it a joke. And I keep on putting out all these, announcements saying that, all that stuff is zero tolerance here. Like, you don't have to troll here. You don't have to be rude here. You don't have to be mean here. And then they get upset when you confront them, and then they want to make it a joke. And it's like, dude, come on. We don't need to actually go that far as to kick you out and block you, especially when we want you to be a part of the community, but we also want you to respect the rules and boundaries of the group and the people. That's the main thing about it. It's the people. There have been plenty of people that I had to boot and kick off because they were being rude to other members. And it's just been so many incidents, but like it's slowing down on that now. Slowing down on that now, but for the most part about it, like I want to talk about the group as a whole because we can't control everybody that just comes through the door. But what we can do, we can try to mitigate all those problems and try to kick them out or act on it when we see it. But for the most part about it, it's just all about respecting each other, which is kind of hard in 2021 because people are just fucking rude. Like, just, oh my god, just fucking rude and mean. Like, especially when it comes down to the nerdy women. Like, come on. Like, y'all act like y'all haven't seen an attractive female before dressed up in cosplay. Like, I understand, yo, like you want her to touch your tra la la, your ding ding dong, but come on, dude. Like just try to imagine how many messages she get and how many dick pics that she get, and then you on her too. It's just ridiculous. To me, it's just ridiculous, and like the females in the cosplay community, they need more help because there's too many guys out there thinking that it's okay to touch them just because the character that they're cosplaying is exposing too much or is exposing some of her body parts or just because she's a cosplayer she's there for their amusement, and that's not true. But I just think as a whole that honestly some of the fans in the cosplay community need to be checked, and some of them need to stop. Like I understand we're all nerds here. We all like certain characters. Like hell yeah, if I see a person cosplaying as Ria's Grimmery, I'm gonna be like, oh my god! But I'm not finna try to touch her. I'm just going to admire her from afar. Like, that's a good cosplay. That is a damn good cosplay. But you can't have it that way. You can't have it that way because it's too many people just doing the negative and acting on impulse instead of just taking a step back saying, okay, how many people have actually tried to hit on her today? Like she dressed like that, she dressed as an anime character. Of course she's gonna get some attention. Like there's no avoiding that. She's going to get some attention. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on. Jesus, save me.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's next on the list because I mean, it feels like we're beating a dead horse at this point.
I mean, we always beat a dead horse. So the next topic, after we can talk about the group, the next topic we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Powerpuff Girls reboot. I saw the pictures of the production and filming of what they were doing, and I don't like it.
You don't like what?
The Powerpuff Girls reboot. That's a real life adaptation. I don't like it so far. Like I just
I
don't
like
like
the
it.
premise of it. I don't like the way that the aesthetics look, but you know what? Just we just got to give it a chance. That's all I can say. It sucks
It
because it's
does.
not our Powerpuff Girls, but at the same time, if we want similar content like that, you have to watch it, and then you have to sit there and express your dislike for it and give exact critique.
Right. But they could have did the same thing they did with the Wings Club, though.
Because more or less, what do you really hate about it? Get down to it and think about it. Constructive criticism.
The costumes. Honestly, the costumes. It's honestly the costumes look complete trash. And who just joined us? What's up, Kendall?
Going on.
Not much. Like I said, I just don't like the costumes. I don't like the costumes at all. What the Powerpuff Girl looks like. Like they could have gave us something like the Wings Club did on Netflix.
Wait, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Powerpuff Girls in the production and how it looks like so far.
I mean, eh. Eh.
It doesn't seem right to me. I just don't like it. I just don't like it honestly. But it's a at the end of the day, if it makes them money, if it makes the WB money, okay, cool. I'm down. I just wish they would have changed their clothes to a more modern day look. Like have Bubbles have blue clothes, have Buttercup have green clothes, and Blossom have like pink clothes and whatnot. That I could have been more okay with because you just revamping or remaking their fucking dresses, and then just going that way with it. It's just I don't know. It just irritates me. It irritates me, but it's not my show. It's definitely not my show, so I can't say shit about it.
You mad, you mad opinionated about it.
I am.
Okay.
I grew up with the Powerpuff Girls. I watched the
We
Powerpuff
all
Girls.
did. And you know what? Until you actually watch the show and see what it's about, you shouldn't judge it so harshly.
I'm not judging so harshly. I just don't like the way the costumes look.
The
That's all.
costumes are only like a physical aspect of everything else.
Yeah, but humans are very visual creatures. If something does look visually appealing, we're not gonna fucking go for it. So just the costumes by themselves just aren't visual appealing. Look at X Men Apocalypse. That whole entire costume for Apocalypse was not visually appealing, and people just could not get past that aspect about it. Was that it was not visually appealing. Dark Phoenix was not
Well,
visually appealing.
what I think it is, John, is that you have a specific vision of what they call a purist of what it's supposed to be. And it
Maybe,
doesn't meet that expectation, so you're distraught by it.
maybe yes,
Yeah, what he said.
maybe yes. I will not
Because
deny
I know
that.
that I do that exactly a lot of the times too, because I know that a lot of my fandom is very puritanism. And for like Zack Snyder stuff, he did a really great job trying to keep it original. But
Hmm.
I don't mind it when they go off tangents a little bit because Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, was a perfect example. How you can be respectful to the source material and still have an interesting story and still have everything interesting. But I mean, as for everything going on, we're just really gonna have to see what it's gonna be like in the end product.
True, true. I
Because
just
I
hate to
mean,
cast
even if you
judgment
don't
so
like it,
early. It's just that the costumes just kind of throw me off. That's all.
it does. It really does. I don't. My first appeal is that I don't like it either. But to me, it's more or less like exactly how you said the costumes. But then I think to myself, what are the Powerpuff Girls supposed to look like anyway? These people don't really have any good reasons for me to be upset at them yet. So I'll just have to wait and see. Maybe I'm just being, as I said, a purist. So I
Yeah.
have to take a step back, think logically before I just automatically assume that it's trash.
And
Right.
that's the thing with like live action, man. It's a reimagining there. They're only gonna use the source material. They use the source material for reference more than anything. You can't expect them to follow it to an absolute T.
I'm not expecting them to follow to absolute T, but they could have just redid their costumes a bit to make it look more 21st century ish, maybe 20th century ish.
I
But
mean, but that's just what they're that's the source material is for reference more than anything.
exactly. But I wish they would have just followed the
Okay,
same path of the Wings
yeah,
Club.
that's this is literally the show hasn't even aired yet, man.
I
So
know.
you got to
I
keep that in
just
mind that maybe that's just what they started out in, and maybe it'll change over time.
maybe I hope so, but I'm just saying.
I'm fairly confident that's probably what the case will be because they're adults now.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll
like
definitely. We'll see. We
I
will.
like, especially if it's a lot, you know how big TV shows are on just like appearances. So yeah, maybe that's just what they start out at, and as the season progresses, they'll probably
I don't
change.
know because
I'm like,
overall,
I'm
I'm still
barely
very
certain.
much disappointed at the DC universe on the CW. I
It's
won't watch any of
TV,
it.
man.
I mean, the only
TV.
good one that I really enjoyed was Superman, and that was Smallville.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, personally, I don't watch.
You don't watch what?
Excuse me. I don't. I don't really. Like it's like certain TV shows I don't even bother watching. Like I've never watched. I think maybe I've watched maybe a single episode of Arrow. So fucking.
I watched one
Uh,
season of Arrow. Didn't care too much for it.
I've watched maybe like a quarter of an episode of Arrow, and I've never even bothered watching The Flash.
Mm. I watched like the first two seasons of Flash. It was pretty good.
At least you made it through the first season. I ain't
Yeah.
even make it through the first damn episode.
I made it through a couple of seasons of Supergirl too, but then at some point I kind of lost interest and it just started being background noise for me for when I went to sleep. Yeah, so it's like, eh.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's not me saying that it's not a good show or anything like that. It's just those genuinely didn't catch my interest because again, I'm like, I don't know.
No, I understand. I definitely get like some shows just don't catch your interest. Like it could be something as little as with me as the cosmetics or the costumes and whatnot, or it could be something like the
Like,
storyline or the actors
I
and
think
whatnot.
a lot of people said the same shit about Jessica Jones when it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
A lot of people was kind of like with Jessica Jones, even though like I think I've made it to the first season and I was in the middle of watching the second season. It wasn't bad. Jessica Jones ain't a bad show. It's just like for a go out, it just didn't catch my interest.
I mean that's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that it was probably the same for me when it came down to what was that show called? The fucking the Iron Fist. Like
Yeah, Iron
you
Fist was
can tell all that fight scenes were kind of fucking cheesy. Like, but
Iron
still,
Fist had so much fucking potential, man.
it really did.
Man,
It really did.
like
Even Defenders has so much fucking potential. Like
oh yeah, the Defenders. Oh man,
Defenders has
Defenders
so
was
much
fucking dope.
potential.
I don't give a damn what nobody say. Defenders was dope. Them as a fucking like fucking triple, quadruple team, whatever the fuck you call it, dope. Daredevil was fucking dope. Whoever was in charge of Daredevil, that should have been the same cat in charge of everybody.
Yeah, they should be
All
sorry
them.
that all that stuff. Like Luke Cage was kind of I. It was I, but the second season it was like okay, what now? And then Black Lightning came out, and it's like okay, this is just another Luke Cage just with lightning powers.
That's a DC show. Black Lightning was DC.
I know Black Lightning was with DC, but it was on Netflix too. Because I think Black Lightning came out after Luke Cage. I
I believe
think,
it did.
I think it did. But then it was like this is just another Luke Cage just with lightning. Like the same thing, same story from the first season from beginning to end was the exact same thing as Luke Cage, and that was Black Lightning. Like they had trouble in their own neighborhood, a small little area in the hood. Black Lightning, Luke Cage, uh, tore up a place to save somebody. They left. That organization came back to retaliate. Black Lightning, Luke Cage, whoop their ass, rinse, repeat. That's all the premises of the first season for Black Lightning and Luke Cage. The only difference is that Black Lightning daughters were involved, and Luke Cage didn't have any daughters. That was the only difference. The only difference. Black Lightning had a big crime boss that he needed to stop. That was in the hood messing with the local neighborhood. Luke Cage had a big crime boss he needed to stop in the local neighborhood that was messing up his local neighborhood. So both were basically the same, and story wise. Now the directions were different, but concrete story wise, beginning, middle, end, they were almost exactly the same. That's basically like here. You can copy my work. Just change your answers around a little bit, and then your friend just fucking just copies down the entire fucking thing.
look, I mean, I really enjoyed the first season of Luke Cage, and I really enjoyed the first season of Daredevil, but I find myself not completing the second season of it
Oh,
because
Daredevil.
at that
Yeah.
point, the second season just didn't have my hook. And then, I mean, to be honest with you, Iron Fist was just. It felt like a chore to watch. I did not enjoy a single second of it. He was honestly just complaining for way too long about everything.
I am the Iron Fist. I am the Iron Fist. I am the Iron Fist. Okay, do we get it? You're the Iron
I don't want
Fist.
to be the Iron Fist. I'm the Iron Fist. Now,
We get it,
think
dude.
back. My daddy's a millionaire. Things are so rough over here.
Exactly.
Got to think about how my life is.
Dude, we get it. You are the Iron Fist. You don't need to say it every single 30, 30 minutes into your fucking episodes. I am the Iron Fist. Okay, dude, we get it. You're the Iron Fist. Now what? Now what? But the only thing I like about the Defenders was that one fight scene that they all were fighting in. That was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. Like I said, the Defenders had so much potential. Iron Fist definitely had a lot of potential. Um, Jessica Jones, I didn't really too much watch it. Daredevil, I still fell out the second
Yet
season.
again, Jessica Jones is one of those. The first season was pretty okay, and then when you get to the second season, why am I watching it?
It's like, why am I watching this? What reason do I have to watch this? But yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty. Most shows nowadays are different. Just like someone's making a not Black Panther. Someone's making a Thundercats movie. I think it was Kendall that told me that
yeah, they've been for a while now. They've been trying to do one.
they've been trying. There's gonna be more darker too.
I don't. I'm not. I'm not sure as far as like the nature of the show, but I was definitely told like yeah, they're definitely going in that direction
Mm.
with that. Like I don't know, man. I feel like they trying too hard to put out too many damn shows.
Well,
Yeah.
the reason for that being is that once upon a time, you know how Disney is the mega person that it is today. What they ended up doing was they took the time for Creative Common laws to basically be exploited. So basically, in order for a property to go into Creative Commons, so that way anybody can use it for anything, it needs to set aside for a certain amount of time not being used. So there
Mm-hmm.
can't be any new content made. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times when you get these really bad movies and stuff like that, it's just to extend the contract so that way it doesn't fall into Creative Commons so everybody can use it.
Exactly. Same thing with Spider Man, which is the reason why they made like two different Spider Mans so that Marvel couldn't get their hands on Spider Man.
Yep.
But Disney being Disney, big fucking bullies, pushing money around, throwing money in people's face. Like, here, give us Spider Man. Just
Yeah.
throwing
To
money
be
in their
fair, I'm
face.
happy with Spider-Man now. I mean, as long as they
I
don't
mean,
mess it up, I'm
I
very
like
happy with
what
it.
MCU did
Yeah.
with Spider Man.
No, no, no. I like it too, but it's just like what Jesus was saying. Sony didn't want to give up the rights to Spider Man, so they kept on making movie after movie
Sony
after
was
movie after
sucking,
movie.
and they know it.
Exactly, but just like he
Sony was
said,
sucking, they know it.
just like Jesus said, under that law, they were just throwing out movies just to renew it. Just saying, okay, we're just gonna make a movie just to renew it, and then there, Andrew Griffin.
Cause
Well,
it
yeah, with
fucking
specifically
sucked,
with
man.
Spider-Man's, what it was is that Sony had to produce a movie every so often. They had an opportunity when Marvel was about to go bankrupt to produce a movie about any superhero that they wanted. They
Mm-hmm.
basically had an attorney sit there and look at all of them and sit there and say that all of them suck besides Spider-Man, and that's the only one we want.
Yeah.
So they bought Spider-Man and Spider-Man's universe only. So the
Mm-hmm.
funny part is now look at them. Look at the MCU now.
It's pretty big now, but like it's pretty
The
vast.
revitalization towards Captain America and all of them is just crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing happened with Star Wars. They were going bankrupt too for a little minute.
Well, the problem is that, they created the Clone Wars and people weren't too happy with the Clone Wars. Don't get me wrong, I love the Clone Wars, but I mean, let's be realistic here. There's a lot of talking in it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talking in the Clone Wars.
I've never watched the Clone Wars.
There's a lot of talking in the Clone Wars. Not too much fighting going on in the Clone
There's a lot
Wars.
of talking for figuring out why Anakin turns to the dark side. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
granted, the action sequences are top notch,
So it's a
but
lot of
as
canon, is what you said.
It lacks lightsaber womp fights. It lacks
So
the
you're
womp
saying
womp.
it's a lot of canon and the Clone Wars.
Not a lot of
well,
canon. It's just a lot of conversation trying to figure out from point A to point B who is who. Especially since this is the one where Palpatine is revealed. So it's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot of like it's a movie with a lot of talking. I think the only two fight scenes is Yoda and Palpatine. I think another fight scene happens too, and it was Anakin, and Obi Wan. Those are pretty much the only lightsaber fights that pretty much happened. I think the fuck besides the one with
Count
Count
Dooku,
Dooku.
General Grievous,
Yeah, Count Dooku, General Grievous too. Yeah, but those were relatively quick fights though. They weren't really
and
like.
then Darth Maul. Yeah,
Well, Darth Maul wasn't in Attack of the Clones. He was.
I
Was he in
mean
Attack of
they
the
have
Clones?
so
No, he
much
wasn't Attack of the
story
Clones.
content to go after, but it's silly.
Yeah. It's just weird. Like the movies now is definitely weird with the Star Wars movies because Star Wars can be so much more than what it is if Disney didn't crap all over the fucking old lore, the old Republic, the New Republic, the fucking Knights of the Old Republic before the fucking Jedi Temple fell. Like during that era, during the Sith
Dude,
and Clone Wars,
I feel like
they should capitalize on that. Like Darth Revan, Darth Darth Plagueis, all those Darth fucking Talon, they all have good stories. Good
I feel like
stories.
now just hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I feel like if they made like a like not necessarily like how Marvel has the what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
If they made maybe something like more of an origin where they go into the origins of like all the fucking people from Star Wars, so like all the dark the dark side, the light side, where they just make like canons of like what actually happened with a lot of these people. I feel like that would be really fucking good. Like so, like Origins,
Mm-hmm.
or they did Origin a show where it's just like each episode is about or like you do not necessarily I would say like either seasons or volumes about the canon characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of these people that aren't greatly known, because I would gladly watch like fucking I would gladly watch anything that has something to do with a lot of the Sith Wars, because it's like we know, unless you read the books, you know so little about a lot of them.
Exactly. Not a lot of people want to read the books. Like a lot of people don't know that Mace Windu comes from another planet of warriors, and his brother is the only like he was okay. So Mace Windu was considered the one of the most best Jedi in swordplay and in the Force. Let's just get that out the way. He had a unique skill called Shatterpoint, where he can see the weakness in anybody that he fought in duels. So not only that, he was like in high esteem one of the best and most lethal Jedi because he used not only the light, but he used also the dark too as well. And this was in Star Wars continuity was when his brother was probably the only one that could overpower him. And his brother was on another fucking planet leading his fucking tribe. So they could make a story about Mace Windu come back because there's already speculations and chatter going about that Mace Windu survived that window fall that Palpatine threw him off of.
I mean, well, see, that's the thing for Star. It's just like, and I'll take this from Call of Duty. If you don't actually see the character die, then don't assume they're dead.
Exactly. We learned that with
But
Darth
yes,
Maul.
that's the movie universal sign of.
I mean, but yeah, but that was also something that Call of Duty was very big on. Like when you thought that Frank Woods died in the first Black Ops game, all to find out like he actually wasn't. So it's like if you don't actually see them killed, because we saw his hand get chopped off, we saw him get electrocuted like a motherfucker,
Yeah.
Jedi and thrown out of a fucking window. You telling me as a Jedi Master he couldn't have caught himself?
Mm-hmm. He could have done something like use the
You know what I'm
Force and
saying?
stop
Like,
himself or something.
and that's the thing with these
Or
Jedi.
or they was
A
on
lot of these Jedi characters, they all have their own unique set of powers.
exactly. Or they was in fucking
Because
they were on Coruscant, right? The on City in the Sky.
you telling me this man couldn't have caught himself or some shit?
Exactly. Or a ship could have just been passing by and he could have just hopped in there or something, or fell off and hopped inside somebody's passenger
You
side.
don't watch Anakin and the rest of these motherfuckers complete from fucking all type of just
The thing is though, the thing is what there's also chatter going on that Luke's that not Luke but Anakin didn't really kill all those younglings.
he probably didn't. I wouldn't put it past him. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't completely gone. He was in the process of going,
Yep.
but he wasn't completely gone.
No, it was confirmed he killed them all because of Baby Yoda, Grogu. He, yeah. He did. Now mine, he did. Yep. Cause
Like, can you imagine if, like, just bear with me for a second. Can you imagine if, like, a lightsaber fight with, like, fucking Mace Windu and Luke Skywalker? Because Mace Windu would have still, if he still could have been alive around the time that Luke had grown old enough.
mm-hmm.
Because Obi-Wan Kenobi was old as fucking dirt, and he was still alive.
Yeah, I think age is like age for humans and the Star Wars universe probably like around 100
If
and
he was
100
the one
something
that
200.
survived, it ain't no guarantee that he aged like that fucking like quick.
Mm-hmm. Because he was part of a warrior tribe, so that could have been a factor in it too.
Like, or he went back to his home planet and just like like, you know, like there's so it's just like so much stuff that like I feel like, man, like put that in a game or something. It's just like so much shit that
Man,
like that has gone unanswered with that, and it's just like, man, y'all like, and I feel like Disney, they're headed in the right direction. They're starting to with
mm-hmm.
that, you know.
They just need
And
to
I
make the
love
Old
like
Republic canon again. They need to make the Old Republic canon again.
cause I really like the Knights of the Old Republic. Those fucking cinematic trailers they used to drop. That shit
Oh
was
yeah,
dope.
they still dropped though. Well, no, not the recent
Man,
one
I used
was
to
yeah.
genuinely sit back and enjoy watching them damn things. Them fucking cinematic trailers from Knights of the Old Republic.
Man, I watch those things over and over again.
Man,
That should
my
never get
favorite
old.
one, my favorite one was when all the Sith Lords ran up in the Jedi Temple like some straight gangsters on their ass. I'm talking about that, like they drove the whole goddamn ship up in there. Buddy walking in there like, yes, you know what I'm saying? Like they like, what you like? Yes, man. Like yes, motherfucker, we out here, we out here.
I think
What
my
you gonna do?
I think my favorite one was when the one of the clone troopers were describing the story, and then right like towards the beginning they come across a ship and you see one red lightsaber. Then all of a sudden you see like a whole fucking 50 of red lightsabers in the fucking background, and you're like, oh shit! And they all start fighting. And then during this time the clone troopers were much more durable, so they would go against Sith acolytes or Sith warriors, which is blasters, and be killing them. But now all of a sudden it's like they get fucking hit by a shockwave and they're just dead. Cause Buddy got electrocuted by a fucking Sith and pulled out his fucking knife and was still trying to stab that motherfucker. I'm like, oh, you determined to kill this Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the shit that I like about, like, they could have did Disney could have did that with the whole they could make a whole clone fucking series, which is why I'm happy that they're doing the Bad Batch, but the Bad Batch needs to be led by Rex, because in the book Star Wars
Okay, so
continuity
explain to
he
me
was
what the
led by the
Bad
Bad
Batch
Batch.
is. Like, what is that exactly?
Okay, so the Bad Batch are just a bunch of reject clones that they thought was like, you know, defective because they weren't perfect as the other clones, but they specialized in their own unique thing. Like one was super smart, one was good at hacking, one was a marksman, one was stupid damn strong, and the other one just fucking all around just fucking badass. Just that they just did not listen to orders well. Something about them was defective and they couldn't be controlled. So instead of just discarding them, they made them into their own little platoon to where they would take on suicide missions or missions that the clone troopers necessarily couldn't take on because
So you telling me they're
they,
like the Star Wars version of the Suicide Squad?
yeah, pretty much. Like they thought in their own way and they yielded results because they didn't think like regular troopers. You see what I'm saying? Regular troopers were taught to follow orders no matter what. But the Bad Batch would follow orders, but they would go about it in their own unique way. They weren't.
They
They
just got the mission done, just not in
yeah,
the traditional way that they were ordered to.
exactly.
Generally yielding to better results because, of course, they're different.
And again, they were a Suicide Squad. They were disposable, but at the same time, they were useful. And so Rex led the Bad Batch at one point in the Star Wars continuity, but that's not canon anymore. That's not canon anymore. So it is what it is. At the end of the day,
To be honest with you, I just want another Republic Commando. Why wouldn't they just remake them?
I don't know because
That
the Commandos they were fucking taught by Django himself and a bunch of other Mandalorians that Jango bought on. Was it Jango? Yeah, it was Jango. Because when he first started training the clones, the first ones that he trained, they were commandos, and so they were more connected to the Mandalorian way because that's how Jango and the other Mandalorians trained them. Because it wasn't just Jango that trained the Mandalorians. No, not Mandalorian. It wasn't just Jango that trained the clone troopers. It was also some other Mandalorians too that Jango brought along with him. And somebody's background is just way too loud.
Sorry, that's my.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing The Last of Us.
I understand, but like I said, it's like they could have done a whole Star Wars Commandos, story with that, and like there's so much lore in Star Wars. Star Wars is such rich in lore.
I wish they would get like a fucking grip on their timelines.
Yeah, that too.
Like, get a sense of fucking, timelines. Cause like I didn't even know what fucking timeline that the Mandalorian took place in.
Oh, the Mandalorian was post
Explained it.
Return of the Jedi. I think it was post Return of the Jedi.
I didn't know that for like a good while.
Yeah, they need to be more clear about that. But I mean, like I said, I liked it. So
Which brings us into our new segue. Kendall, by the way, is going to be starting a new series eventually.
yeah. Yes, you are. Remember I talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. Like I am.
He'll be reviewing comics and movies.
But more or less what it is Kendall is more of a new nerd more than anything. She likes the stuff before and everything.
Your stuff is up too loud, Kendi. I can barely hear Jesus.
I'm sorry. Give me a second.
But more or less, Kendall hasn't really been into the whole. For instance, Kendall didn't see any Studio Ghibli. So what we're trying to do is now acclimate him to it and then have him get the feeling to it. So that way you get a true response on some of the movies and stuff that, you see.
Yeah.
And, an honest review from somebody else that isn't already big into it and, a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be ultimate.
I'm more unbiased. I'm more unbiased with these type of things because I try to get out. Because I realize that, with this type of stuff, everyone, it's more just like how you perceive it personally. Like, everyone has their opinion about it, obviously, but it's perceived differently depending on who you talk to.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, so we kind of went the almost whole podcast for talk about Star Wars, which we can do. We can talk a whole podcast about Star Wars, but this is not the podcast for that. At least not yet. At least not yet. We need to have a. Brenda, what do you question marking about, Brenda? You want to join? Is that what it is, Brenda? You want to join? I don't know if you guys haven't heard this before, but you can fucking get paid by putting anime ads on your car.
Say what?
You can get paid by putting anime ads on your car. I'm not sure how.
Anime ads all over my damn car. They gonna pay me.
I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how, but you can get paid for having anime ads in your car. If that's the case, I'm going to be having all the anime ads on my fucking car just driving around. Hello, Brenda.
I was shift drifting everything in between.
For real. For real. I'm like, you want me to put Asta on my hood for 5,000? Okay. For real. Hey, Ches. Hey, Brenda.
For anything, give me a nickel and I call it a day.
So we got two new people who joined us, Ches and Brenda.
What are we doing?
We're just talking about nerdy shit.
Just talking.
We just talked. Well, first we just talked about for the past 30 minutes about Star Wars and what Disney needs to do to make it better. And the second thing we were
Star Wars stuff.
I understand that. You told me before when I was playing Star Wars Battlefront.
She don't like Star Wars.
She don't like Star Wars.
It's not that I don't like it. I just never got into it.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We were talking about.
Why is that a rat in your camera?
That's a chinchilla, first of all.
It's a rodent. and then we were talking about and you can get paid by putting anime ads on your car. So, and Kendall, I heard from a little birdie that you have never seen Studio Ghibli.
I've never seen what.
Studio Ghibli, any Studio Ghibli movies?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Think that's what the kids are. Well, you know
They
what?
got it on HBO Max,
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm getting real tired of y'all.
so I might actually
Hold
keep
on, no, no, no,
HBO
no.
Max
I'm getting
because of
real
it.
tired of motherfuckers singling me out just because I ain't seen something. You got an issue with it. Eat my eat the whole dick. That's all I can
Don't
say.
worry, Kendall.
Full
We
list.
gonna sit you down and we gonna have you watch every Studio Ghibli movie that there is.
Got an issue with
It's
it.
a
Eat a
new
whole
one
dick. That's all I can say.
on HBO Max.
You know,
Yeah, I heard about the new one. I need to watch the
I'm
new
gonna
one.
watch it.
You haven't seen? You don't like Spirit Away?
Huh?
He's never
That's
actually
the
watched
but
the
he
second
did.
opinion.
Oh,
You know, I can't help that what I can't like it's not my fault of what I didn't get exposed to
Have a
or what I
dream,
didn't
your dog.
what I wasn't aware of. You know what I'm saying? Like
Look,
it
all
be
right,
like that
we all
sometimes.
get it. He doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Yeah, pretty
yeah.
much.
So, do you want to watch it, Kendall? Well, Brenda says unacceptable.
Like I don't know, man. Like maybe when I feel like it, yeah, I'll check it out.
Think of your favorite food before your favorite food. Before you realize that your new favorite food was there.
I mean, I've watched a couple of them with my son. It's like they're not bad.
You haven't watched a couple of them.
Yeah, I have. I sat
It's
there and
like
I watched
one.
a couple of them with a wife.
It's one. It's like one.
Okay, well, the point is,
Kind
I've
of.
seen it, so it ain't like I'm completely
Kind
oblivious of
of.
what it
No,
is.
kind of.
Oh my god.
You know?
So, have you
It's one of
guys?
those things that don't pique my interest personally. I feel like I'm being attacked, and I don't like it.
He said, I don't like it. Okay, we're gonna change this topic just for real quick. Have you guys heard that a rare original Superman comic sells for a record 3.25 million dollars?
Who got
Why
it?
would a food right
Somebody got it.
Who got it?
They sold that bitch for
I'm about to go
3.25 million.
around there. Who got
It's
it?
a rare. I'm not sure. They didn't say no names for the protection of the identity of the person.
To find out who got it, so we can go get it.
Gonna sell that shit on the black market.
So we can go get it.
But it's a rare original Superman comic, and it sells. It's sold for $3.25 million. Like how?
I mean, well, you know what? That was actually something that I had found. That was something that I had actually found out yesterday when I was
Hmm.
listening to some. So, like, okay, so you know how in the '90s, like the comic Marvel almost went bankrupt in the '90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I brought
Okay,
that up earlier. Yeah.
and one of the big reasons was because they used to release like 100 issues of comics per month,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it had something to do with like the more common the comics were, the less they sold for because anyone could pretty much get them, and that kind of and therefore it kind of devalued them
Meow
because
Juana.
it was
I'm
a
sorry,
comic.
Kendall. I'm sorry,
Huh?
Kendall. But she's holding up Meow Juana.
Who?
Brenda's holding up Meow Juana.
I don't know what that is.
Cat marijuana.
I'm not even looking. I'm streaming right here, so I'm not even looking at the screen.
No, I understand. I got something to talk about what the new kitties I got today when you're done talking.
Okay, so pretty much what they were saying was uh, that Marvel almost went bankrupt in the '90s because of all the because they were I guess releasing too many comics and per month, and it kind of devalued them because they went from being like really rare to like very common.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty, you know, like whoa, you know, that was pretty trippy, you know what I'm saying? And that's why like they release like a certain amount of comics per month, especially the paperback ones, so that instead of them making 100 copies, or instead of them making like 1,000 copies of like say X-Men or one X-Men comic, they make like 100 of that particular comic in paperback, so that there's like only 100 of them actually physically in the world, so that way they don't lose their value.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty crazy. It's like, huh? And that's why everything else is just released digitally now, and like very few people have the actual like physical copies of them.
Yeah, because the physical copies are kind of hard to get to, and you can only collect them if you're a collector. But
Bro, honestly, it just brings brings back to the point of me saying like that's probably why that comic sold for so damn much because like it ain't a lot of physical copies of it in the world right now.
Yeah, and collectors go crazy over that shit.
I'll be
So
back.
she'll be back. Just us now again. There's two more things I wanted to talk about before we close out. The new Cruella trailer starring Emma Stone is released by Disney.
Yeah, I actually saw it. It was pretty cool. I saw the trailer for it.
I heard it was pretty decent. Cruella, Emma Stone as Cruella, I think she fits the role. I think she fits the role.
Emma Stone is hot.
Yeah, very. The last one I want to talk about before we can actually just just talk about anything else is that Atari might make a new Sword Quest single player RPG game.
Never played it.
Pretty good.
Not
Pretty good.
and and did you hear about they're trying to do a remake to the first Last of Us?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah, you
already
said
doing it.
that.
They announced it this week.
Yeah.
And which I'm kind of curious. Like, I'm a big fan of the first game, so you know what? I'm actually kind of curious to see what they change up in it. And my more interesting question is, why are they trying to change it up now? Like, I know there got to be a whole lot more to that than them just doing it just cause
Because remakes make you money.
The
remake.
re the You know what though? You should be happy that you're getting it because in other news, PlayStation 3's store is shutting down. So that means all those digital exclusives are going away. And if you don't have a remake, you can't buy the game again. So I'm thinking more or less that that's one of the reasons why they're remaking The Last of Us.
Wait, so
So you get
PlayStation 3
something
stores
instead of
are
nothing.
closing down now? The fuck?
They're trying
Yeah,
to change like
PlayStation
a
3,
lot of
PSP, and PS Vita.
they're trying to change up
Mm.
a lot of like parts in the original game. So my question is, are they doing that too because like they're trying to what I don't think they're trying to redo the whole story, or is it because that they're because of the TV show that's coming out and they want to like make shit more fitting to the TV show?
Might be to make more fitting to the TV show.
Because if you read, they said that the TV show deviates a lot from the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you remember from the game that they were Ellie and Joel were on the road for over a year, for like a whole damn year before they actually made it to the Firefly.
True.
So ain't no telling what the hell they might have dealt with in the process. It's just like that's why I'm like I can't help but be curious about okay, what are you motherfuckers actually trying to do?
Right.
I don't know. Realistically, I mean, I like remakes because it gives them a chance to update the art, make it look grittier, and as long as they keep the same story or at least, better. Because realistically, that's all I really want Hollywood to do. Stop making remakes of movies that are already successful. And let's make remakes of movies that fail. You know what I mean?
Right?
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Because a lot of these movies that failed had some good premises and some good story plots, but
Okay, give me
just
one.
needed to be fixed.
Give me one.
All right. Ghost Ship was about a weird ship. It's
Yeah, I'll
basically a
see
B-rated horror movie where,
I'll see Ghost
yeah,
Ship. Okay, I know what
or 13 Ghosts. That's a cult classic right there alone
13
too.
Ghosts, the remake they did of that was fucking great. That movie scared the shit out of me until I was in my 20s.
Mm.
Exactly, but it flopped still technically because it wasn't really a plus story. There was nothing really to draw people there. But I mean, everybody who's big into horror loves 13 Ghosts. All they really need to do is just reorganize it a little bit, get a little bit more story involved into it, properly, not just exposition dumps. I mean, realistically, that movie has potential for being one of the best horror movies ever because it's exactly as you said, it scared the crap out of you. And then Final Destination is another good one. They had so many bad Final Destinations and so many bad Saws that they could just reboot and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then not to mention, like, as far as nerdy things go, I mean, like, was it the Thunder Thief one? I forget what it's called. Percy Jackson and the Thunder Thief.
Percy Jackson and Lightning Thief. Yeah.
Yeah, you have those. You have the Vampire's Assistant. You have, I mean, even the remake for a series of unfortunate events was really great. you know.
Yeah.
But the first one was sort of but Jim Carrey saved that whole movie. He makes it interesting and fun. But
Oh,
everything surrounding it was sort of and then we never got a second one
true.
until we got the
Um.
remakes where we found out more and they explored more of the other books.
Okay, so apparently, I'm reading this right now. Apparently, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Everything we know about the Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2, and that the Falcon and Winter Soldier, things aren't looking good for the Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2.
Why you say that?
Coming off of WandaVision, its less controversial sitcom, metafiction, Marvel has returned a global threat fighting form with season 1 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, a 6-episode limit series which will wrap at the end of April. Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be Marvel's opening Disney Plus act, the series paving the way for future franchises while closing the door on previous storylines. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige explained in an interview with Variety how the Falcon and Winter Soldier was to um, parachute those previous MCU factions, what has been a classic passing of the torch from one hero to another at the end of the endgame, became an opening up for our potential to tell the entire story about that. He said, "What does it really mean for somebody to step up into those shoes, and not just somebody, but a black man in the present day? The passing of the torch language has given some impression that the Falcon with the Soldier will be one and done type of series that will conclude after season 1 end. Still, the show has introduced several new components already, including a potential future anti-hero and John Walker, and 2 young heroes who may play a part in upcoming Young Avengers adaptations."
So does
Uh,
that technically mean that WandaVision could be another reoccurring thing as well too?
yeah. Whether or not the Falcon Winter Soldier moves on with the new season, we can be sure that the least few characters we have only by far briefly met will play some role in the future. Here's what we know right now about the Falcon Winter Soldier season 2. It just
What
says,
I'm really excited about more or less is Marvel's What If series coming because they're introducing Marvel zombies.
yeah,
My
Man, I don't. Man, look, personally, I like Falcon and the Winter Soldier a lot.
yeah.
Like,
Basically, it was
I
only
like
supposed to
it because
introduce. It was only supposed to be a introducing thing, not a long standing
well,
thing.
it looked like if you didn't want people to like it so damn much, you shouldn't have made it so damn good. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
well, to
Now,
be fair, I mean,
now, they done got to look at. They too goddamn good at the job. Now they got into some shit. And yeah, it definitely ain't gonna be a one and done. Not with that, because that shit was
Mm-hmm.
good. Of course, you want to see Bucky and Sam team up even more. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know. Personally, what I really want out of the whole Marvel universe, like what my personal dream team that I want really badly is Spider-Man and Deadpool. Do a show, do an entire show, have them be an hour episode. Like they're already speculating in the MCU right now that Ryan Reynolds decided to have a talk with the president of Disney and said that he wants a bromance relationship with Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Who?
And to be
What's his
honest
name?
with you, the comic books are fire as hell, which I highly recommend if anybody has, any love for those two. Just read them. They're 10 out of 10. They both respect each other so much. And then there's one comic, more or less, where Spider-Man thinks that Deadpool murdered someone that he loves. So Spider-Man almost goes to the edge of killing Deadpool. So it's
Yeah.
interesting, more or less, about that. And I think that that would be the next great team-up film if they were going to do something like that.
True, but thinking of like while we're on the topic of praising things, I'm just reading this right now off the news. Apparently, everybody's going crazy over this, and I don't know why. But Megan Thee Stallion shares major praise for Yu Yu Hakusho opening. It just seems like,
And you know what it is? Celebrities, a lot of the time, they don't get to like anime. But now, all of a sudden, it's a big thing. Like, we noticed it in rap and stuff like that.
yeah, it's
Like,
definitely a big thing.
there's a couple of rappers that incorporated some Rick and Morty's quotes, lines. Then there's some rap songs that are literally named One Punch Man. You know what I mean? So now all of a sudden the culture's gotten very popular, And now when anybody mentions it, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, they're famous. They have millions of dollars and successful. And watch things that I watch. I can be successful too.
People were praising Yu Yu Hakusho's opening before there was a Megan Thee Stallion. Like we were praising that fucking opening since day fucking one. We were fucking kids watching Yu Yu Hakusho. Who doesn't like that fucking
In
opening?
my world, Megan the Stallion really doesn't hold any weight. No offense. I mean,
Apparently she does. Apparently anime on comicbooks.com says she does.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like it makes her more relatable to everybody else. You know, that's why a lot of people are more into it because it's like, okay, if this successful ass celebrity is into what I'm into, then you know what? I can relate to that. She
But I
don't.
mean, there has always been celebrities that were into stuff
I was
like
gonna say,
that.
yeah,
Look
but
at
now
Will
it's just more
Wheaton.
so. Now, no, I'm just saying more now. I think it's not so much a trend. It's just more so it's becoming the norm. Like, okay, so you can be sexy and still like be into nerdy shit. You can be successful and still like be into like nerdy shit. Like it because of whether we realize it or not, stuff like that shapes a lot of people take a lot of inspiration from anime. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I was working out yesterday, and you know something I realized fucking I get way more pumped up listening to fucking inspiration like Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta speeches more than I do from listening to music while I work out.
That's true.
Dead ass. I'm talking about I was really in there fucking like going. Listen to Vegeta give the I am the Prince of Saiyan speech. I was that motherfucker getting it.
I'm a prince of all Saiyans, and don't you forget.
Like about Saiyan pride and strength and all that. And I'm just like, yeah, hell yeah. I'm just in there just pumping away, just going crazy on the dumbbells with that. Like, dude, like, yes, it's a cartoon. Yes, it's for entertainment. But again, it's like everything else. It's not so much. It's how the person who's taking it, how the person who's watching it interprets it, and what they take from it. It has a big it makes a big difference regarding that's why a lot of people dig it so much.
Mm-hmm. I
It's just
understand.
like that's why a lot of people dig it, you know, and like I'm literally, you know, listening to Vegeta give a whole speech about strength and pride and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there, you know, pumping, banging out, just knocking out my workout, just beasting through my workout because of that. Like, you know,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
get
sitting
it.
there.
Like I've learned so much more through hearing Natsu and Naruto give speeches versus just hearing motivational speakers give speeches. Like it's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, motivational speaker who gets paid like $5,000 to come into speech. But did you see my boy fucking Naruto speech though? Did you hear Natsu's speech though?
About what?
Naruto's speech when he talks about the past and being hurt and whatnot and not falling into darkness.
Right.
I don't think I caught that one yet.
Or when you hear pain speeches about fucking, the world will know pain and whatnot. I'm gonna look up some. I'm gonna look up some pain quotes right now. Let's see, pain quotes. This is some of the pain quotes that we have so far. Uh, no, that's not pain. Let me look for pain. These are all Nagato. I'm not looking for Nagato. I'm looking for pain. Well, he is fucking pain. I keep forgetting about that. Okay, so here are some quotes. Love is sacrifice. Those who do not understand true pain can never understand true peace. We are but men drawn to act in the name of revenge we deem to be justice. But when we call our vengeance justice, it only breeds more revenge, forging the first link in the chains of hatred, which is necessarily true, especially in the streets.
I mean, yeah, you get some real life lessons from
Yeah.
anime, man. You
You
know, it's like,
you think you're the only one who matters. You think you can put off death, but peace that made you foolish and thoughtless. If you kill someone, someone else will kill you. This hatred binds us together. Justice comes from vengeance, but that justice only breeds more vengeance. If you don't understand someone's pain, you don't understand him. Them are real life lessons. And there's one, his most famous one is sometimes you must hurt in order to know, fall in order to grow, lose in order to gain, because life's greatest lessons are learned
Learn
through
through pain.
pain.
Yeah.
All of that is just from Naruto's one character. Like it's and another one is religion, ideology, resources, land, spite, love, or just because. No matter how pathetic the reason, it's enough to start a war. Like these are deep ass quotes that have
That's what I'm
meaning.
saying. And it's like shit like that. It comes from the most like unlikely place, aka a cartoon,
Exactly.
anime. But
Exactly.
it doesn't make the meaning of what's being said any less meaningful.
Chris just said I just blew his fucking mind.
Huh?
Chris is listening. He said you just blew you just blew out my fucking Oh, you just blew out my fucking ears. Oh, your ears. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me turn down the volume for the little baby.
Another one in there.
Okay, so yeah, it should be good for you now. I have to fluctuate between this fucking shit
And
because people saying it's too low or
against
it's too high. But yeah, there's a lot of lessons learned through
take a drink
fucking Naruto and anime that you watch.
Those were people take from, and that's what I'm like. That's why I guess now more so in this day and age, it's become the norm to like shit like that because you can get a lot of inspiration, real life inspiration from watching that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally based on how you interpret the shit, how people choose to interpret it. You know,
That's true. That's very true.
so like, hey, maybe it's not. Maybe for her, Meg Thee Stallion, it's not so much a fad. It's more that's just something she genuinely believes in.
Maybe, but it's like I don't think that she even wants this type of attention. It's just that people the news,
She's an
tabloids,
influencer. She's an influencer.
listen to
So
what I'm
whether
saying.
she
Listen to what I'm saying. The news and tabloids are blowing this out of proportion because they think that she's the only artist, quote unquote, that is open about their geeky side or anime side. When
maybe she's
fucking
the only one who's been like I guess the most open about it. Not the only
not
one who
really
talks
because
about it.
Dylan and Cole spout well not Dylan Cole. One of the fucking Sweet Life and Zach and Cody twins, he fucking cosplays all the fucking time with his wife.
Or it's easier to say right now she's a very popular celebrity. So of course, it's not so much that she's the only one. It just happens to be she newsworthy right now. So of course, everything she do is gonna have an influence on
Okay.
everybody a whole lot more than it would. And it's like either way, it's
Okay,
very
well
like
back in the day there was this group called Nerd, right? Nerd and
of
the
course
Cool Kids. Nerd
no
and the
one
Cool
ever really
Kids.
dies.
Yeah,
You
like
said
Pharrell.
you said what?
Pharrell,
Yeah, Pharrell and
no one
them.
ever really dies.
Yeah,
And that's the abbreviation.
yeah. So Nerd, the Cool Kids, the Cool Kids and Nerd had these little album songs going out making anime references, including the Cool Kids that said one of his songs was he said that he said I'm sitting in my crib eating a bowl of fruity pebbles, sitting in my crib, playing a game of that Street Fighter, Street Fighter, Street Fighter. So people who were influenced or more popular back in the day were still making anime references and game references back then. They just weren't getting the attention it is now because let's just be completely honest, Megan Thee Stallion is probably one of the only rappers as of right now that's out openly saying that oh yeah I cosplay oh yeah I watch anime I watch this I watch that but not give a fuck. That's the reason why she's so big now because she doesn't give a fuck but really people before her were doing the exact same thing just that they just like you said they weren't as popular as
So
Megan Thee
my
Stallion.
question to you is it like I can't tell if you giving her praise for it or you just kind of knocking it as like okay you ain't the first one to do it and you want people to stop acting like she is.
No, I'm not saying neither of those things. I'm saying that the people that listen to her words, like the fucking comic book anime.com people, the tabloids, the writers and whatnot, they're making it more than what it is to be because she's not out there saying that, yeah, I'm the number one anime fan and whatnot. She's just expressing what she's like. Even in the interview, she says, I'm just expressing what I like. I fuck with this, I fuck with this. I do what I do. And at the end of the day, the tabloids made her seem like this anime guru. They even said anime guru Megan Thee Stallion.
I
Anything?
mean well, that's clickbait man more than
I understand that is clickbait, but you got people that follow that and that honestly think that, and it's like, dude, like this has been a thing even before Megan Thee Stallion. Don't think that just because Megan Thee Stallion shed light or quote unquote shed light into this that anime just popped out of nowhere. No, anime's been around for a very long time. The celebrities have always referenced their work to anime. Kanye West has referenced some of his music videos towards anime, and he
Hmm.
was big as shit back in the day. So it's not like she's not the only one. It's just that these tabloids people are hooking on to every single word that she says
I
because
mean, again, it's only because she's very popular right now. So of course, it's just
exactly,
it's wordplay. But I think it's still very true. But it's mostly wordplay, clickbait, whatever you want to call it. Like I think that like you say, she's genuinely just expressing how what she into, and there's
mm-hmm,
nothing wrong with that. And I guess because she's more of an influence towards the younger people, of course, that's just what it is. That's why it's such a big deal to them because it's a lot different. We came up in a generation where you know it was still very frowned upon, depending on who you talk to be into that type of shit.
it really was, yeah,
So
definitely was.
now at this point, it's just like it's like just because I think it's more so like just because you're into anime don't make you a fucking nerd. Just because you're into anime means you have to be a certain way. You can still like again, like I love anime, but I'm also a fucking veteran. I love guns. I love martial arts. I love fighting. I love like it's like that's just one part of everything that makes me me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's just like, yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And there shouldn't be.
It
You
shouldn't be
know,
nothing wrong. No,
don't let and like, yeah, can't nobody, that's just a small part of what makes you you. And there's nothing wrong with
exactly,
that.
exactly. I remember one time when Morton West used to have an anime club, and I remember when I first found out about it, I was so excited. But little did I know, my first day in the anime club, we were just talking, chilling, hanging out, talking about anime, doing what we do, and then these older classmen just kept on walking through our door and kept on making fun of us. Said, look at all the nerds talking about cartoons. And they used to always do that and harass us. Like
I don't know. I don't
that
remember
shit
that. And I
wasn't
was in
cool.
anime class just like you.
No, it was Anime Club. I never saw you
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Anime Club. Either
I was. I
you
was there
was
often.
what? Wait. So what year were you in?
Oh, 09 is when I graduated.
Oh nine. I graduated in 10. Was it 10?
Yep.
Jesus,
We graduated same
yeah.
year, John.
Because the guy that used to bring in all the old systems and stuff like that. We've had StarCraft tournaments in that room.
I've never seen you in that room, Jesus. I swear to God.
I swear to you, we had StarCraft in there. We used to play Smash all the time. My buddy John was the one bringing out the classic systems, the Neo Geos, the
when I
Sega
went
Genesis.
when I was in there was no game systems. It was more like Yu-Gi-Oh card games and Magic in there. And was it Nintendo DS? It was
Yeah,
one of the
they
game
had
systems.
they had
Yeah,
people there that played Magic and stuff like that as
yeah.
well too.
So I'm
It
not.
was the AV teacher, right?
Hmm.
It was the
When I
teacher
went
with
in
the
there,
white beard.
when I went in there, when I went into the Anime Club, I only went in there for like one day, and when they did that, I stopped going because of that.
I know, well, that's fair.
I stopped going because of that. I didn't feel safe in there because they just kept on walking past. Either you were there or you weren't there, or you was there but you weren't paying attention to them. But
I don't know. They were telling me that at the time, and I could care less. I was more
yeah,
or less one of those kids back in the days. If we got words, we're gonna have words.
but I know that. But it was like I was at that age. I didn't feel like being bothered with people, so it was like what's the point of it's supposed to be a safe place, and I'm still being bullied in a quote unquote safe place. So I just stopped going, and like people are
Well, I know
just
I had that happen too.
yeah,
So
like
don't feel bad.
people are just cruel. Like, and it's like now I'm not trying to say I'm pissed off, mad that it's openly anybody can just be openly a nerd now and not get picked on, but made me feel some type of way because back in the day the stuff that everybody is like normalizing now, it's
John, that's
like
just like John, that's just like saying, like I get what you're saying, but like imagine how the people who were alive when segregation was a thing.
I understand that.
I mean, it's literally the same thing. It's just
I
like,
understand.
man,
Yeah, I
I
understand
wish,
that. And
they can't help it. Look, times change. That's constant, bro.
right,
Like,
I
this is
understand.
what we dealt with.
I'm not doubting that. This is what I'm doubt. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, and I said it. It says I'm not like it's being like I'm mad. I just feel some type of way about it because I was constantly teased and picked on in middle school and in grammar school because of it. And it's like, you know,
You don't have to do that in every conversation anymore.
nowadays I'm happy that it's, you know, normalized and normal and whatnot. But it seemed like, you know, growing up that was like my thing, like the thing that set me apart from everybody else, being rejected and ridiculed and ignored because I liked what I liked. But then now that it's normalized and whatnot, and just anybody can just get into it now, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like, you know, I wish this was around when I was younger.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who feel the same, but
Right.
we are where we are
I'm
right
not down
now.
to new people. I'm not making fun of the new nerds or what. I'm not saying you guys are.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
not saying
saying.
that at all. But I'm just
Yeah, I'm
saying,
just
like, we
saying.
are where we are with it now, right?
Yeah.
And that's
It's
all that
just
matters.
that I wish that I didn't have to suffer so much trauma back then because of it. Because I'm so uncomfortable with, because that trauma, believe it or not, your trauma carries through from your kidhood to your adulthood, and that reflects on how you're going to act in the future. So of course I'm not comfortable with a lot of people because of that. I have a small circle. I don't like a lot of people around me. I hate people. I hate dealing with new people because I don't know how they're going to react to me. Not that I just don't like being around people. I don't know how they're going to react to me and my likes. That's why I hate getting to know new people and bringing them into my circle because, again, I hate having to think how they're going to react to me.
Man, at this fucking point in time, we all too old for that shit to really be giving a shit about how someone reacts. It's just either you can be
It's just
accepting of it
that
or you don't.
I don't want to deal with all that drama
Okay, and
that comes
John,
with it.
and that's the thing. You don't have to. So it can literally be a thing where you can be open about that, and if a person ain't into it, all right, okay, like that's cool.
That's cool. Yes,
That
that
don't
is
change shit.
cool. That it doesn't say shit. You're right. It doesn't say shit. But at the end of the day, it's just what I don't want to do. I don't want to have to actually deal with that or have to ignore that versus it just not happening at all. Like I
Look, all
don't.
right, you can't control what the other people are
Having
doing.
that type of that way of thinking, man,
Okay, I'm
you're
not
not gonna
saying
make
that
it.
I'm not going to go through it. I said that sometimes I would not like for it to happen. Like everybody has their preferences, what they like and what they don't want to happen. I just don't like for it to happen. I'll do it if I have to. I just don't like for it to happen. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm
And
trying to prevent it 100%.
it's going to happen though.
I know that, and that's why I say if I have to do it, I will do it. But it's just something that I just don't. Just like with Jesus thing, where he doesn't want to offend people. I don't want to have to get to know some new motherfucker all over again and have them adjust to me and how I am and how I talk.
I mean, and just because somebody's not into it doesn't like maybe it's just like they've never been really introduced to it, and maybe
Maybe,
being around you, it's like, oh, okay, like man, like this is actually pretty fucking cool.
maybe,
It's
but there's
exactly as he said. It could have been quite possible that they associated it with being a nerd. They talked about hating nerds so much that they
And
just
then,
completely ignored it altogether. Then, when they finally grew a conscience and actually sat down and thought about it, watched it, and was like, huh, it's not so bad.
or it
And
was
let me
just
tell you
something that
something.
they never got introduced to, and it was something that, depending on where they grew up or the type of people they were around, it was just something that was made to be frowned upon, but they never actually bothered to look into what it was.
that's true. And I'm not taking that away from them. Not taking away from you guys. It's just a personal preference. That's all. Just personal preference.
I mean, if we gonna date people, then yeah, you run that risk no matter what. And then, I mean, if it's not a preference, then okay, you got the option to just leave that person alone altogether.
I
But
mean, yeah, but if
you're not gonna be able to avoid that, like
no, no,
completely. You're gonna run into that.
I just said I don't. I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm trying to say that everybody has their preference on what they like and what they don't like. I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm not trying to prevent it. It's just that it's just a thing that goes on in the back of my mind to where I gotta get to know this dude and then see if he can actually like adjust to me and me adjust to him because it's not like something I try to prevent at all. It's just
Now
that
you just sound like you're describing like normal human reaction, normal human interaction.
okay if it's normal human interaction, it's just something that I just wouldn't want to go through. But if I have to, I will. If I had a choice in the matter, I wouldn't go through it. That's why I keep my circle small. I don't have a lot of friends.
Is it really that terrible of a thing for you, Jeff?
I mean, you not me.
You're right. I'm not. I'm
So
asking, is it really that
what
terrible?
makes me it makes me anxious. Okay, I have real bad social anxiety. So yeah,
Look. Let me express something to both of y'all. That's really true. I have anxiety that's really bad. When I meet a new person, I panic and panic some more and then panic some more. And even if I've known you for years, I'm still panicking. The reality is that, my wife sits there and tells me all the time that people like me better than her, but in all reality, I'm just trying to say something that isn't going to offend everyone in the room, and that's not going to hurt anyone's feelings or make them feel good. You know what I mean? Feel bad, but it's just, by doing that, you become likable. But deep down inside, I'm just anxious. And you're wondering if you should be your true self, not your true self. And I believe that's what a lot of what John is saying himself is that he's just anxious all the time around new people. And then you also have to understand is that just because somebody's friendly to you doesn't mean that they're your friend. I've had
exactly.
friends come over to my house and steal stuff, you know? So it's just more or less about that anxiety that goes even further because I've had stuff like that happen. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you write off everyone, but that's always in the back of your mind when someone's there, like the day before, and something goes missing.
Pretty much.
Um,
Social anxiety is a motherfucker.
well,
It is.
just personally, like, and again, this is just my perspective. You spend so much time worrying about who you're going to offend in the long, and you'll drive your fucking self up the wall. You
That's
know,
Yeah,
true.
but
best,
That's
that's
best,
true.
best
that's
fucking thing you can do, and this is just my personal thing. Be yourself. You'll attract what you'll something that you'll attract who's attracted to that, and who ain't. Okay, you don't have to deal. If it ain't,
but
you
that's
don't
not
have to
how
deal with
any
them.
mental disorder or social anxieties work. You got to
It's really
understand
not.
that being anxious is like, for instance, when you're playing a video game and you hear the boss music come on, but there's nothing there. You're
I mean,
expecting someone to come out, and it's always there.
I experience anxiety in my own way. That's just not one of them.
I understand
And
that
all I'm
social.
simply okay, and
Let's just say this.
all
Let's
I'm
just say
simply
this.
saying, all I'm simply saying is that seems more like you just overthink the shit. And I get to a degree you can't help that, but it just seems like you overthink the situation rather than it just letting it be what it be.
Maybe, but at the same time, you don't react to the same thing that I may react to, or that Jesus may react to,
Okay, and
something
that's what I'm
and
saying.
something in a new and if you're in a new environment, you may not think that like how I think. If I'm in a new environment, I'm anxious as fuck. I am nervous as fuck, even though I don't show it. I am nervous as fuck. Even when I was okay, this recently just happened to my new coworkers that I had to be in 2 weeks of training with in the new office. So they were trying to make relations with me and trying to be my friend. But because my social anxiety is so bad, I just responded to them every other word, and I couldn't help that. I can't help that shit around new people, and I had to tell them, Paul, I say, yeah, man, I got social anxiety, and it's really bad. I don't mean to offend you, but it's just that my social anxiety keeps me from having full blown conversations until I'm 100% comfortable around you. And they understood. They didn't take it to offense. They didn't move at my own pace. And then eventually we all just started being hee ha ha friends with each other. But in that situation, you may be different or react a certain different way because that's how you are. And in certain situations, I may react a certain way and you may be anxious about something. And it's like everybody is different. Everybody has their own trauma. Everybody has their own anxiety. I'm not downgrading your anxiety. I'm not downgrading Jesus anxiety. All anxiety is bad and needs
And
to
and
be
and, and I
and it needs to be addressed And it needs to be, and people need to be able to work on their anxiety because every
John,
anxiety is not the same.
John, all I was simply saying, and or I guess putting it into simpler terms, it's I get with shit like that, you can't help it because that's just what that's with anything, you know. Like I get that, and I guess my explanation or what I'm saying, it's not so much to I guess tell you to get over it or this or that. It's just I guess again, like always, it's not to belittle anything you say. It's more so, okay, you know what? Maybe let me put this in your head, and maybe you know you might look see it a little different. That's more than anything. That's what that is. Like again,
Maybe,
but you do that in your own time. People
maybe.
get there in their own time. So it's not so much to belittle what it is you deal with because you can't help it. It's just more so, you know what? Let me put something in your head that might make you. I mean, maybe give you something or maybe help you see that situation a little different.
Yeah, maybe, but at the end of the day, I have to be able to practice that art and actually get over my social anxiety because my social anxiety comes from me and my childhood growing up. And like, if you guys haven't noticed, I talk really slow sometimes, and that's because I have a really bad stuttering problem. If I get too excited, I talk fast, I start to stutter, and I sound like a broken mixtape.
I mean, yeah, and that, of course, that's like
And
I said,
that
with everybody else, with all of us, we all got shit that we carry with us from our childhoods, and that's to be expected. You know what I'm saying? Like it be like that. That ain't a bad thing.
no, it's not a bad thing at
Yeah,
all.
no, no, I ain't
No,
saying it's a
no, I'm
bad
just
thing. No,
saying that everybody
you're a
has
grown ass
different.
man, and you work on that at your own pace.
Right.
But
Everybody has different
the
anxiety.
thing is, but you're a grown ass man, and you work on that at your own pace. The important part is that you work on it at all,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get there in your own time. It ain't a rush, and if any like if I can say something that might help put that in a little bit of a better perspective for you, then that's pretty much all what I'm saying is
I mean,
my
I get.
the advice I'm offering. That's all that's the form that it's coming in. Not to tell you how to deal with it, but just to give you a better way of thinking on how to deal with it.
I mean, I see
More
your
than
point.
anything.
I see your point. I definitely see your point. All I'm saying is that anxiety is a motherfucker and it kicks everybody ass every single day. I don't care who you are. You have some type of anxiety. Everybody has some type of anxiety, social anxiety, confrontation anxiety, and so on and so forth. Anxiety is definitely real, and because of that, what I've been through when I was a kid, I carried that into adulthood, and now I'm just learning how to pick up the pieces. And sometimes it's hard because some adults can be like children. They don't understand. And so their first reaction, some of them, is to try to figure out why you do this or why you do that. And it's like, why are you trying to figure out why I'm doing this or why I'm doing that? I'm just trying to live with my anxiety. And sometimes that can lead to them being frustrated and them overreacting, getting angry, and possibly belittling how I feel or belittling how you feel because they don't understand where you're coming from. And that's not okay, especially when it comes down to anxiety and somebody actually trying to work through their anxiety because every single day I'm working through my anxiety, whether it's my stuttering problem, my social anxiety. I've gotten a lot better to a point where I'm not just always silent in the room. Trying to work on it, but at the same time, you don't know how other people are going to react, and some adults can be children, and that can like deter you from making those little two steps forward because
That's why
when
you
you
stomp them in the fucking
when
face.
you
No, I'm playing.
try
Don't do that.
when you try to when you try to do things outside your circle and then you get hurt or you get some type of pain, your first reaction is to go to a safe place.
Nah, that's why when a bitch gets smart, you slap them in their fucking mouth and stomp them in the nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Violence
Like
is frowned upon in our society. Remember that.
it really fucking ain't. Cause some niggas need to be punched in the goddamn mouth every once in a while.
This is true. This is true. But that's not your job to punch him in the face.
I mean, I like to, you know what I'm saying? It's a dirty job, and I just love doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying that's not
I
your
don't give a
job.
fuck. Because there's a difference between what, because a lot of, like, hey, man, at the end of the day, I'll tell you this much. At the end of the goddamn day, how you people like at the end of the day, you have your social awkwardness and that's cool and all. You work at your own pace to express that shit. In no way, shape, or form does that give a motherfucker a right to be disrespectful. And if a bitch get disrespectful, they get hit in their goddamn mouth. And just because you don't like how I deal with something, or just because you got an issue with how I choose to go about something, don't give you no right to be a fucking asshole about it. So if you finna take it that far, let me go on, take it a step further. Shit, since we out here crossing habitual lines and shit, that's
and
all I'm
that's
saying.
and that's true in a perfect world. That's supposed to be true,
It ain't a perfect one. A
but you
perfect
know
world,
how motherfuckers, you know how motherfuckers are though.
one boot to an ass at a time. Right? We'll get there. It ain't
I
never
done
been a
seen
perfect
folks
world.
get they ass beat and they still talking shit as they get
Okay,
they
and you
ass
know what?
beat.
A good ass whooping, even with for the most stubborn person, a good ass whooping will make them think twice before they say something.
I don't think so. There's some stupid ass motherfuckers
Even
out there.
if it's just a millisecond, they'll think they'll be a little hesitant before they open their fucking mouth. You beat somebody ass good enough, trust me, they'll definitely think twice about it. And if they don't, it's because they ain't had their ass kicked good enough.
Hey Freddie, how you doing? You've been sitting here listening for the past like 10 minutes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to hear what y'all got going, man. So what's the gig? What
No, no, we're talking about anxiety, social anxiety, and whatnot, and how other people may see your social anxiety or your anxiety, period, and how some people like try to downgrade that or try to make fun of you because of it. Because God knows why they do that. God knows why they do that. But some adults act like children, and they are just cruel.
And that just means that if a son of a bitch, if the first thing a person can do is look at you and think that's funny, then that means they're fucking immature.
Very.
They got a lot of fucking growing up they still need to do.
They really do. They really do, and it's sad, but it's the world we live in. There are a lot of motherfuckers out there that just aren't mature enough for a conversation like this. Like earlier today in the group, I posted a black cosplayer montage of all her cosplays. A couple motherfuckers laughed, and I'm like, I see nothing funny. What's so funny? And one of the dudes, he just continued to laugh, and I'm like, okay, I gave you a chance. Block, kick, delete.
damn. Okay. Very like
I don't play when it comes to black cosplayers, man. I don't play because they already suffer enough in the cosplay community. They don't need people laughing at their shit, especially if it's for no reason. And I asked you what's so funny. It could have been, oh, the picture that she used for Killa or the other characters. I find that picture kind of funny. It's oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny that she chose that picture. But you just out laughing. Come on, bro. You being a troll now. You being a
yeah.
troll, and we don't need that here.
I mean that is true. I mean, a lot of people just I can tell you this, man. A lot of people have a lot of problems with a lot of things that they probably shouldn't. Like cosplay, right? A lot of
Hmm.
people feel like certain characters, whether it be Japanese, anime, whatever, should be limited to only those type of people you doing that. And I mean, and to me, I think it's childish. If you're okay with those people bringing revenue to that, then why can't they do those same things? I don't know. Like, I mean, we have a lot of what people like to say culture. What do they call it? Culture deficit.
Vultures or no
Yeah,
vultures or.
yeah, culture vultures. And
Hmm.
I mean, but the difference between being a culture vulture and enjoying something or enjoying a subject, as you like to call it, is way different, man. I mean, it really is. Like cosplay, that it should be enjoyable, right? It's fun, right? I mean, it should
Yeah,
be a laugh, or I mean, not laugh, but you know what I mean. And as far as watching you doing your character, that's no different than a kid who likes the Hulk dressing up as the Hulk for Halloween or something like that. It's really
yeah,
nothing.
exactly. But you got people out here that be like, oh, you can't cosplay as that character because she's not black. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough.
I think that that's just more or less the superficial people. I
Very.
mean, there's a lot of stupid people out there in the world. I don't think that that's all the people, though.
No, it's not all the people. It's just some of the people, and we do run into those people every so often. Or if they are around, they're just not showing them
Well,
their true
that's the
colors.
problem with getting bigger. We're getting more problems, but it's an acceptable problem.
Yeah, it's an acceptable problem. It's being exposed to different people. We're at 2,200 and some members right now. Hopefully by the year's end we can get to 3,000. That's the goal. By this
How many
end of
we
the
got right
year,
now?
2,200 some people.
That ain't bad at all.
By the end of this year, I hope we get to 3,000. I really do. But we're going to wrap up this podcast because it's gone on long enough. And I think we talked about a lot of good topics today. This is episode 3 of LNG Talks Nerdy. The shit we got coming up. As always, we have a review show coming up too as well. We're going to release weekly about anime, comics, movies, and video games that will star me as the anime personnel, Jesus as the gaming, and Kendall here as the comic and movie personnel. We also have what else do we have? Jesus, help me out here. I forgot what we had.
Follow me on
We
Twitter.
had Brenda going to go look at antique stuff, like nerdy things.
Yes.
For the people that enjoy antiques and stuff like that.
She's gonna have her own little video show, video bloggage about the items that she come across that may be nerdy. So be on the lookout for that too as well. And Kendall is going to start recording his superhero workouts. When that's gonna drop is TBA, to be announced. But when he gets some videos recorded, we will definitely be posting that on the YouTube. We won't be posting on Facebook. We'll be directing traffic to the YouTube. So if you haven't added our YouTube, please add it now at LNG Entertainment on YouTube. Anybody else want to plug in something before we go?
Follow me on Twitch. It's gruesome90, and it's GRUSOM 390. That's 390. The numbers, not the spelling. So hit me up.
And as always, you can follow me at Twitch, at twitch.com/nerdkami. One word, 2 eyes. Nerdkami, 2 eyes. NERDKAMII. Nerdkami. Jesus.
Mine is all X lowercase lol sweeper LULZREAPER and then lowercase x. And pretty much, I mean,
We have to start streaming fucking Overwatch, dude. They got an anniversary thing going on where they have all 3 story sets going on.
I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. I seen it the other day and I was intrigued.
We should definitely start streaming some Overwatch, man. Definitely look into it. Oh yeah, before we leave, I promised a story about the kittens I bought today. So I got 2 kittens today, right?
Yeah.
Cute as can be. But guess what? I brought them home and I have no idea where those fuckers went to. I tore up my whole entire house looking for them bitches and I cannot find them. So I've
They don't
lost.
want to be found.
Yeah, I've lost 2 kittens. I'm kind of worried, but then people come and tell me they're gonna hide into a nice soft space until they feel like they can trust you. I'm like, yeah, but I just want to love them. Sad face.
I ain't give them time.
Yeah, I give them time. Hopefully they're not dead. That'd be
So
tragic.
did you decide on the names?
No, I remember I let the community name them. It ends on the 26th.
Got you. Okay.
So we have a little contest going on. If you want to name the kitty cats, you can go to our Facebook group, join, and comment your 2 best nerdy names and the most likes. I'll name them that name. The most likes, and you get a free LNG t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, Jesus, after this thing is over, we have to talk about t-shirts. So, yes. And we are in the works with coming out with more personal merchandise for our fans, which means that you won't just get just normal LNG t-shirts. No, you'll have a lot of nerdy appeal t-shirts that you can wear and wear proudly.
And then we're going to be doing a promo with free stickers soon, hopefully, too.
Yeah, with every purchase, you'll get free stickers. I'm pretty sure you all like stickers and whatnot. So yeah, we'll be doing stickers. Just plant those stickers anywhere you want to. And that's about it what we have tonight for our podcast. Join us next week on episode 4 of LNG Talks Nerdy. And we'll see you then. Until then, everybody say goodbye to the happy people.
Take it easy. Stay strapped and get clapped.
Hey, Zeus, you want to say goodbye?
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. And as always, see you guys next week. Bye.